Whisper Library. We believe in books.
Imagine someone you've done everything for. You supported them when they needed you. You answered every call, you showed up when no one else did, and one day, they walk away. No explanation, no appreciation, no goodbye that makes sense. For weeks, maybe even months, you replay every conversation in your head. What did I do wrong? Could I have said something different? How do I make them understand? But what if those are the wrong questions? What if the moment you stop trying to control someone else's choices is the exact moment you finally take back control of your own life? Most of us spend years chasing approval, fixing relationships that don't want to be fixed, convincing people to stay, trying to change minds that were never open to change. We call it love, we call it loyalty, we call it responsibility, but often it's simply the fear of letting go. And that fear quietly steals our peace, our confidence, and our happiness. Sometimes the greatest freedom doesn't come from changing people. It comes from allowing them to be exactly who they choose to be, while choosing who you will become. You're listening to Whisper Library, where letting go becomes the beginning of living. In the Let Them theory presents a surprisingly simple idea that has transformed millions of lives. Instead of exhausting yourself trying to manage other people's opinions, decisions, and behavior, she offers a different path. 2 ordinary words: let them. They may sound passive. In reality, they're one of the most powerful tools for protecting your peace, strengthening your confidence, and reclaiming your emotional freedom. Because the moment you stop fighting what you cannot control, you finally gain the energy to change what you can. And that changes everything. Take a deep breath, leave your expectations behind, and let's begin. Chapter 1. The Power of 2 Simple Words. There comes a moment in almost everyone's life when they realize they are exhausted. Not because they're working too hard, but because they're carrying people they were never meant to carry. Trying to change someone's mind, trying to make someone appreciate them, trying to convince someone to stay, to care, to understand. Mel Robbins explains that this constant struggle comes from one belief: that if we say the right thing, do the right thing, or love hard enough, we can control another person's choices. But we can't. And the longer we fight that reality, the more we lose ourselves. That's where 2 simple words change everything. Let them. If they want to judge you, let them. If they misunderstand your intentions, let them. If they choose a path you wouldn't choose, let them. These words are not about giving up. They are about giving up the illusion of control. Because every minute spent trying to manage another person's behavior is a minute taken away from your own life. Robbins reminds us that people always reveal who they are through their actions. Instead of arguing with reality, learn to observe it. Believe what people consistently show you, not what you hope they will become. The moment you stop chasing control, something unexpected happens. Your mind becomes quieter, your emotions become lighter, and your attention returns to the only person you were ever responsible for changing: yourself. That is the real beginning of freedom, not changing them, but finally allowing yourself to let them. Chapter 2. Stop chasing acceptance. From the time we're children, we're taught that being liked is important. We learn to fit in, to avoid disappointing people, to earn praise by meeting expectations that often aren't even our own. Without realizing it, many of us grow into adults who measure our worth by someone else's approval. Mel Robbins believes this is one of the greatest emotional traps we can fall into. The truth is, no matter how kind, talented, or thoughtful you are, someone will misunderstand you. Someone will criticize you. Someone will simply decide that you're not for them. And that's not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of their perspective. The problem begins when you make it your mission to change that perspective. You explain yourself, you overthink every conversation, you replay every mistake, hoping to find the moment that made someone pull away. But the more you chase acceptance, the more control you hand over to people who were never meant to define your life. Robbins invites us to replace one exhausting question with a better one. Instead of asking, "How do I make them like me?" ask, "Do I even like the person I'm becoming while trying to please them?" That single shift changes everything. When you stop performing for approval, you begin living with authenticity. The right people won't require you to prove your worth over and over again. They'll appreciate who you already are. Because peace doesn't come from being accepted by everyone. It comes from accepting that not everyone is meant to choose you, and when they don't, let them. Chapter 3. Let them be who they are. One of the hardest lessons in life is accepting people as they are, instead of loving them for who we hope they'll become. We see potential in a friend who never keeps their promises. We believe a partner will eventually change. We convince ourselves that if we're patient enough, supportive enough, or understanding enough, people will become the version we've imagined. Mel Robbins says this is where unnecessary suffering begins. When someone's actions repeatedly show you who they are, believe those actions. Not the excuses, not the promises, not the future you've created in your mind. Acceptance isn't the same as agreement. It doesn't mean you approve of someone's behavior or stop caring about them. It simply means you stop arguing with reality. If someone doesn't value your time, let them. If someone chooses not to respect your boundaries, let them. If someone continues making decisions that don't align with your values, let them. Then decide what you will do next. That's the part we often forget. The power of let them is not about becoming passive. It's about becoming clear. You stop wasting energy trying to rewrite another person's story and begin writing your own. Robbins reminds us that emotional maturity begins the moment we stop expecting others to become who we need them to be. Instead, we accept who they are today and make decisions based on that truth. Because peace isn't found by changing people, it's found by seeing them clearly and choosing your own path with confidence. Chapter 4. Choose yourself. For many people, putting themselves first feels uncomfortable. It feels selfish. We've been taught that a good friend always sacrifices, a good partner always gives, and a good person always puts everyone else's needs before their own. Mel Robbins challenges that belief. She explains that choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's responsible. Because when your happiness depends on someone else's choices, your peace is no longer yours. You begin waiting for people to call, waiting for them to apologize, waiting for them to notice your effort, waiting for them to become the person you wish they were. Meanwhile, your own life is standing still. The let them theory invites you to make a different choice. Let them do what they're going to do. Then ask yourself, what do I need right now? That question shifts your focus from control to responsibility. Maybe you need stronger boundaries, maybe you need to walk away, maybe you simply need to stop giving your energy to people who have stopped valuing it. Robbins reminds us that every time you choose your peace over unnecessary drama, your confidence grows. Not because life becomes easier, but because you're no longer asking someone else for permission to be happy. You begin trusting your own judgment. You begin protecting your own time. And slowly, you build a life that isn't controlled by someone else's behavior. Because the healthiest relationships begin with one simple decision: to stop abandoning yourself while trying to keep everyone else. Chapter 5. Relationships without control. Every relationship carries an invisible temptation. The temptation to manage another person's emotions, decisions, or future. We want our partner to communicate differently. We want our friends to make better choices. We want family members to understand us exactly the way we understand ourselves. Mel Robbins explains that while these desires are natural, they often become the source of unnecessary frustration. The moment you believe it's your responsibility to change someone, you begin carrying a burden that was never yours. Healthy relationships are not built on control, they're built on respect. Respect means allowing people to make their own choices, even when you disagree with them. It means accepting that love cannot be forced, loyalty cannot be demanded, and trust cannot be negotiated. Those things must be given freely. The let them mindset doesn't weaken relationships, it strengthens them. Because it replaces pressure with space. Instead of trying to control someone's actions, you simply observe them. If they consistently support you, appreciate them. If they consistently disappoint you, believe what their actions are telling you. Then make your own decision. You don't need to argue with reality, you only need to respond to it wisely. Robbins reminds us that every relationship teaches us something. Some people teach us who deserves a place in our lives. Others teach us the importance of boundaries. Both lessons are valuable, because the strongest relationships are never built by controlling another person. They are built by two people who freely choose each other, day after day. Chapter 6. Rejection is redirection. Few experiences hurt more than rejection. A relationship ends. You don't get the opportunity you worked so hard for. Someone chooses another path instead of choosing you. Our first instinct is almost always the same. We wonder what we could have done differently. We replay conversations. We search for answers that may never come. Mel Robbins explains that rejection becomes truly painful when we treat it as proof that we are not enough. But rejection rarely defines your worth. More often, it reveals direction. The let them mindset asks you to stop resisting what has already happened. If someone wants to leave, let them. If someone doesn't recognize your value, let them. If a door closes despite your best effort, let it close. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop fighting reality. Every ending creates space for something new, but that space only appears when you're willing to release what no longer belongs in your life. Robbins reminds us that many of the opportunities we celebrate today only became possible because something else fell apart first. What once felt like failure often becomes the beginning of a better chapter. The lesson isn't to avoid disappointment, it's to trust that your life cannot move forward while you're clinging to what has already decided to move on. Because sometimes the greatest act of courage is not holding on. It's having the confidence to let go, and believing that what's meant for you will never require you to abandon yourself to keep it. Chapter 7. The Life You Gain. When you let them. At first, let them sounds like a response to other people, but by the end of this journey, you realize it was never really about them. It was always about you. It's about reclaiming the energy you've spent trying to control conversations that can't be controlled, relationships that can't be forced, and opinions that were never yours to manage. Mel Robbins explains that peace doesn't arrive when the world finally behaves the way you want it to. Peace arrives when you stop making your happiness dependent on other people's choices. That is where real freedom begins. You stop chasing those who keep walking away. You stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop shrinking to fit places you've already outgrown. Instead, you invest that energy where it belongs, into your health, your purpose, your relationships with people who choose you willingly, and the life you've been postponing while waiting for someone else to change. The let them theory isn't about becoming indifferent, it's about becoming emotionally free. Free to love without controlling, free to care without losing yourself, free to walk away without bitterness, and free to move forward without carrying the weight of someone else's decisions. When you practice this every day, something remarkable happens. The noise around you becomes quieter, your confidence becomes stronger, and your life becomes lighter. Because the greatest transformation doesn't happen when other people finally become who you hoped they would be. It happens when you finally become the person who no longer needs them to. In the end, the Let Them theory is not a book about giving up on people. It's a book about giving up the exhausting belief that you can control them. Mel Robbins reminds us that so much of our stress comes from fighting battles that were never ours to fight. We spend years trying to change opinions, earn approval, repair one-sided relationships, and convince people to become who we wish they were. In the process, we slowly lose sight of ourselves. The power of Let Them is that it breaks this cycle. It teaches us to stop resisting reality and start responding to it with clarity. To accept people as they are, not as we hope they'll become. To release what we cannot control so we can fully invest in what we can. Our choices, our boundaries, our growth, our peace. Perhaps that's the greatest lesson this book offers. Freedom doesn't begin when other people finally understand you. It begins the moment you stop needing them to. Because the quality of your life is never determined by the decisions other people make. It is determined by the decisions you make after they do. And sometimes, the most powerful words you'll ever say are also the simplest. Let them. You've been listening to Whisper Library, where letting go becomes the first step toward becoming who you're meant to be. If this book gave you one thing, let it be this. Peace is not something other people give you, it's something you protect. So let them judge, let them leave, let them misunderstand, and then let yourself keep growing. Until our next book, take care of your mind, trust your path, and remember, the life you've been waiting for begins the moment you stop waiting for everyone else.